Hello, thank you for joining me today. My name is Angela Russell Grier, and I am presenting Activity 11, Model 7, the video presentation about Erik Erikson. Erik Erikson's background, birth and early childhood. Erik Erikson had a complicated life, starting with his childhood. He was born on June 15, 1902, in Frankfurt, Germany. His mother, Carla Abrahamson, was an unwed mother from a prominent Danish Jewish family. His biological family was a non-Jewish Dane who left before Erik was born. His mother married Dr. Theodor Hamburger, a Jewish pediatrician, and at the age of 3 they changed his name to Erik Hamburger. However, Erik was not officially adopted by his stepfather until he was 9. Erikson's personal identity struggles actually shaped his theories. Identity confusion is one of them, whereas Erik's parents led him to believe that Hamburger was his biological father. He learned the truth at age 8, and this left Erik feeling very bitter about the deception throughout the rest of his life. Erik never met his biological father. His mixed heritage and Jewish upbringing in a predominantly Christian community where he was bullied contributed to his struggles with identity. The significance of this is that these early experiences of abandonment from his biological father and the confusion about his identity profoundly influenced Erikson's later work in psychology, particularly his theories on psychosocial development and the concept he coined as the identity crisis. Education. Erikson was initially planning on being an artist. He studied in Karlsruhe and Munich before moving to Florence. He traveled extensively across Europe, engaging in sketching and painting, and a period often referred to his wanderlust artist phase. His psychoanalytic training was in 1927 when he began teaching art at the Progressive School in Vienna, founded by Dorothy Burlingham and Anna Freud. His training in psychoanalysis under Anna was significantly would shape his future. His professional achievements, Erikson held prestigious positions at elite institutions including Yale, Harvard, and he contributed to the field of human development. His formal qualifications included Montessori certificate and training at the Vienna Psychoanalytic Institute, and he became a leading figure in psychology recognized for its influence theories and publications. Despite lacking a formal degree or any degrees in medicine or psychology, Erikson emerged as a prominent developmental psychologist renowned for his theories on human development and identity. He held prestigious positions with elite institutions such as Yale University, where he worked at the Institute of Human Relations and taught at the Yale Medical School. He had a long-standing relationship with Harvard, which coincided with the creation of some of his most significant works. Erikson was also a professor at the University of California, Berkeley, where he studied child development and conducted research primarily on Native American children. His work at Berkeley helped him create his influential psychosocial development theory. He left his position at UC Berkeley because he refused to sign the loyalty oath the UC Berkeley regents were demanding its faculty to sign. Loyalty oaths were a prominent tool born out of the McCarthy era. Erikson's refusal to sign the oath on principle proved his dedication to his values despite the negative impact on his career. Upon leaving UC Berkeley, he continued his positions with Harvard, Yale, and the Austin Briggs Center. Erikson's major theory. He expanded upon Freud's psychosexual stages by introducing the concept of psychosocial development, emphasizing the impact of social relationships and the culture on personal growth throughout the lifespan. He provided a framework for understanding personality development and mental health challenges across the lifespan. Erikson's 8 developmental stages start from infancy until adulthood, each with challenges and tasks. These stages were considered a significant advancement in Freudian thought. Identity formation is a key concept where adolescents develop a sense of self and personal identity, and then autonomy, the ability to make independent choices, which Erikson thought typically would develop during early childhood. Intimacy, of course, involves the ability to form close, loving relationships, usually developed in young adulthood. Here are a few cultural worldviews associated with Erikson's theory. The emphasis on universality of the developmental stages across cultures. Erikson believed that social experiences play a vital role in the development of an individual throughout their lifespan. Recognition of cultural variations in how psychosocial crises are resolved, and the influence of Western individualistic perspectives, but adaptable to collectivistic societies. His theory has significant impact on psychology and education worldwide. Erikson's significance in the mental health field has had a very large impact. Focused on the lifespan development, Erikson's 8 development stages shifted psychology from childhood to one's entire lifespan from infancy to old age. Each stage contained a vital conflict needed for personal development. For instance, during adolescence, Erikson developed the identity crisis concept, which focuses on helping individuals discover themselves while building a unified sense of identity. The study of identity-related mental health problems in young people requires this understanding. Erikson's work demonstrated how life stages and social elements affect mental health, establishing the basis for contemporary therapeutic approaches. Therapists today use this developmental framework to treat patients facing identity problems and developmental obstacles. By integrating social, cultural, and psychological factors, Erikson's theories encourages a holistic view of mental health. Here is a quick overview of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development, the 8 stages. I have individual slides, 8 slides that we'll go through, but this gives you an overview so you can see everything at one time, starting from birth to 18 months, and then going through to the age of 65. I'll pick this up on each slide next. The first of Erikson's stages is number 1, trust versus mistrust. The ages for this is birth to 1 year. The challenge is to develop a sense that the world is safe. During this stage, babies establish their basic need for parental care through learning to trust that their needs will be met. The lack of fulfillment of essential needs during childhood development leads children to build an overall distrust for the world. And the key is virtue, hope. The second stage is autonomy versus shame and doubt. Age 1 to 3 years old. The main challenge during this period is for the child to establish self-awareness about independent decision-making capabilities. During their toddler stage, children start to establish independence while learning independent skills such as toilet use. During this developmental stage, children who do not receive proper encouragement will tend to develop feelings of doubt and shame regarding their abilities. The virtue for this is will. The third stage is initiative versus guilt. The ages are 3 to 6, and children must understand how to attempt new tasks and handle their mistakes during the developmental period. Children at the preschool stage become more independent while taking initiative to perform tasks independently. Children who fail to take initiative and achieve their proper tasks might feel guilty because of the unmet needs and wants. The virtue here is purpose. The fourth stage, industry versus inferiority. Age 6 to adolescence. The challenge is to learn basic skills and to work with others. Throughout their school years, children build their self-confidence through mastering new skills. During this developmental stage, people will create inferiority complexes if they do not receive sufficient support and recognition. The virtue here is competence. The fifth stage, identity versus identity confusion. The challenge is to develop a lasting integrated sense of self As teenagers enter their teen years, they start to focus on their external appearance. People start forming their personal identity by trying out different versions of themselves. A teenager who fails to develop an identity properly during this period will likely maintain a role of confusion throughout their adult life. Virtue is fidelity. The sixth stage is intimacy versus isolation, and the age is young adulthood. The challenge is to commit to another in a loving relationship. Most people experience romantic love during early adulthood, leading to marriage, and often they start a family. People who fail to develop intimacy with others during the stage through marriage or friendship will probably feel isolated. The virtue here, of course, is love. The seventh stage is generativity versus stagnation. Age is middle adulthood. The challenge is to contribute to the younger people through child rearing, child care, or other productive work. This is the longest period of human life. During this stage, people work while they're making contributions to society and taking care of their children. People who do not discover meaningful ways to be productive during this time will most likely experience stagnation. The virtue here is care. And the last stage, number 8, is integrity versus despair. The age is late life. The challenge is to view one's life as satisfactory and worth living. During their senior years, people reflect on their accomplishment or lack thereof in their lives. When people leading fulfilling lives, they create an inner feeling of integrity. Without integrity, they would experience despair. The virtue here, of course, is wisdom. Now that we've finished with all 8 stages, it's important to also look at the theoretical systematic biases associated with Erikson's theory. The individualism versus collectivism, criticism for the emphasis on individual achievement and self-identity, which may not align with collectivistic cultures. Gender bias, early work focused more on the male identity development and less, if any, on the female perspectives. Cultural limitations. Some argue that Erikson's stages are generalized and don't account for cultural or socioeconomic differences. It's also important to look at the ethical issues concerning Erikson's theory. There is a lack of diversity in the population studied. This does lead to biases in the generalizability of the theory. Limited exploration of the intersectionality, for instance, race, gender, class, in psychosocial development. The current ethical consideration in the professional practice needs to have ethical considerations in applying Erikson's theory to a diverse population. There are culturally sensitive adaptations of his stages in therapy and counseling. Ethical challenges in diagnosing identity crises without overgeneralizing normal developmental struggles. Applying Erikson's theory to my personal practice. With my personal experience as an adoptee, this highlights the importance of Erikson's identity needs. Erikson's focus on identity development inspires my passion for supporting individuals with identity challenges. Utilizing psychosocial stages to help clients understand their developmental struggles and navigate their crises. I will apply Erikson's lifespan perspective to promote holistic mental health care and leverage Erikson's theory to access and address identity-related challenges in therapy. Erik Erikson was and still is a highly regarded and influential person in the field of psychology. And yet, as mentioned, he was complex. I find it interesting that life seemed to cycle. The very thing he held against his parents, believing that they deceived him about his biological father and who he was, he implemented a similar deception with his own children. He had a child who had Down syndrome, a young son, and he was immediately put into an institution. He told his children, his other 3 children, that their brother died at birth. So you can imagine their shock when they found out they had a brother who was 24 and then, of course, unfortunately died. It was very weighing on his one daughter, who has written a memoir called In the Shadow of Fame, a memoir by the daughter of Erik H. Erikson. And she's still trying to come to terms with the fact that her brother was not dead. ERIK ERIKSON died at the age of 91 on May 12, 1994, in Massachusetts. He was survived by his wife, Joan, of 64 years, and all 3 of their 4 children. I thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation, and please see the references on the following pages. Thank you.